All right, hello everyone. I'm going to give you guys just a second to get everybody in the room. Come on in. And while you do so, I'm going to go ahead and say hello. Welcome back to the build track. For those of you who've been with us earlier in the day or recognize me, we are in the home stretch, which is exciting to say. And, you know, as we've gone through the day, the thing that I keep coming back to as I see all the energy in today's sessions is that most solopreneurs have real experience, years of it, but there's a gap between what you know and what you're actually selling. And crossing it sometimes requires a different skill than the one that built your expertise in the first place. Now, it's the same with running your back office as a solo, and that's why Let Us built what we call a solo HQ. When it's running your entity, your payroll, your books, your healthcare, your retirement is locked in, you can stop leaking money and energy outside of your expertise and put it into carrying forward things like the learnings from today. So before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. Again, many of you have probably heard this several times from me, so I'll continue to go through it rather quickly. Please put your questions. One, use the chat. Please put your questions in the Q&A. We're going to get to as much as we can during the session. If you haven't yet today, head over to the networking area. It's a great opportunity to meet other attendees who are solopreneurs like you in a similar situation, and a great opportunity to meet and greet. And don't hesitate to drop, where you're from in the chat to get the conversation started here today. Don't forget to follow Let Us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We have tons of additional educational opportunities and content always coming out. We'd love to have you with us. And then last but not least, don't forget about, if you go right over from the Q&A is the handout section, and there are offers in the chat. An offer from our speaker, who I'm about to introduce, as well as some offers from Let Us. If you join us at Let Us before May, there's 1 month free with a Summit VIP code. And for any Let Us customers that are here today, we thank you for joining us and being part of the journey, and there is a referral offer for you as well. Now, on to the topic of today. I want to introduce our next speaker, who launched the first ever university curriculum for Solopreneurship at UC Berkeley, where he's faculty at the Center for Entrepreneurship and Technology. He's a 2-time founder, a 3-time CMO, entrepreneur in residence at Alchemist Accelerator, and a columnist at Times of India. His session is called Turn What You Know into What You Sell, and he's walking through his solo founder framework, founder market fit and founder problem fit, and how to build multiple income streams from what you already know without raising capital or hiring a team. You'll leave knowing exactly how to turn your expertise into a profitable offer and what to do in the next 30 days. So actionable stuff. Please join me in welcoming Luke. And Luke, I pass it over to you to take it over.
Hey everyone. So Kim, you are very articulate. I'm going to try to follow suit. And everybody here, I consider all of you friends. Solopreneurship is a small community. On Reddit itself, you look at the subreddit and it's not that big. So point is, when I run into one of you, I feel like I'm running into tribesmen, family. So please connect with me on LinkedIn, Luke Kim. There's dentists and actors named Luke Kim. So if you find Luke Kim Berkeley, that's the nerdy one, the one that's me. Besides that, today everything will be free for you, so I'm not going to sell you stuff, and everything will be tactical. So not strategic, not theoretical. So I promise it'll be practical. The reason I'm standing in front of you is that according to UC Berkeley, this is the first ever curriculum at the campus for Solopreneurship, and there have been over 50 alumni so far, ranging from undergraduates all the way to people who are retired, who have had 4 times as much success as I have, both based on longevity of career and also career outcomes. But what's cool is that, by my calculation, north of 25% of students actually profit. So the bet we took that anybody can turn their knowledge and know-how into income, that bet paid off. So examples include a national security intelligence officer, which I cannot even name, but she's created this solopreneur thing about dance and theater because that's her actual background. Pretty cool. There's also a doctor in Europe that makes between 5 to 8K a month in euros for advising about medical and health tech consulting, but in ways that align with her love for wellness, and so on and so forth. One of my solopreneur friends that graduated last year, he's still in Argentina, still there, growing a remote team. I think he's gone from 1 to 2 paralegals in America, and he tells me that Argentina is great. He never thought he could be a solopreneur as a lawyer, but there he is. So without further ado, let's get into the meat of it. So with all of you, there's going to be a question after this workshop. Where to next? How do I advance? This QR code is that answer. I'm going to give it to you before so that if any of you have things to do or you get business calls and you can just leave and, it's okay. But the starter kit here, the Solopreneur starter kit, this contains 10 exercises you can do for yourself to actually get somewhere, books that I've personally read cover to cover that teach you how to be a solopreneur, and also some other stuff that you might find interesting. So that's just a gift. If you want a screenshot, you can screenshot. If you want a QR code, that's okay too. But before we move on, just know this is a lead magnet. What I'm doing to you right now is I'm getting your email, right? Getting you to surrender your email so you get free resourcing. And in the future, one day, maybe I might offer you something. I might tell you something. So for all of you, no matter your skills, you can turn it into a lead magnet and have people sign up for free. So later you may sell to them something that's, priced. Okay, now moving forward. A lot of people talk solopreneurship, and I think it's stupid, honestly, because solopreneurship is a little nebulous. Entrepreneurship, the canon of it was the YC method, right? Y Combinator. You make a team, a deck, you prove growth, not profit, you prove growth, and maybe you rack up a cloud computing bill, which you cannot pay. So you go to Palo Alto, find a VC, they put the bill for you, and maybe one day you get market dominance enough that you become a unicorn. That sounds to me like a very stressful journey, and I just think that I've had some really smart, successful friends around me, but many of them just fail. I mean, that journey is just, most people fail. So what I'm going to propose to you is, as a solo, you can go faster. They say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I say, if you want to go far, then go fast first. If you can't go fast, you can't go far. And solopreneurship to me is the range between $3,000 to $30,000 per month per project. So at max, maximum in my life, I've had 8 or 9 different solopreneur revenue lines active, and each one of those was paying me $3,000 to $30,000 per month. So I'll talk about that later. There's something you should achieve if you're a good solopreneur, which is FU cash flow, not FU money. A lot of people try to retire early and go the FIRE route, FIRE, but honestly, if you have FU cash flow, you're untouchable. You are so resilient. Okay, so the reason why solopreneurship might work for you is simple. I believe there's this employee to entrepreneur spectrum, but no matter where you sit on that spectrum, if you are a one-trick pony, then it's really hard for you to make a living and be resilient. So if you want total absolute freedom and control, then you yourself must be your own lead magnet and your own cash cow. Now, as I said earlier, FU money is something everybody aspires to, and I've heard people say, oh, if I've got $5 million liquid in the bank outside of the home I live in, then I should be good to go. Or if I have 10 million, my family would eat for 2 generations. I don't know. I just think that whatever millions you have in the bank, it's all devaluing. There's inflation, right? You might get hacked or stolen. The real thing, the real objective is cash flow. Now, before we move on, the problem I'm trying to solve for all of you is that many of you have one skill, one offer, or one industry that's strong. So in that sense, you are vulnerable because let's say you were a taxi driver, but the world took on Uber. Now taxi driving is a poor job for poor people. So I'm just being very straight here is whether you are freelancing or CEOing, even if you're a big time executive, what happens if your direct boss gets pissed at you and fires you, right? Or a layoff happens. It's famously known that MBAs are the ones that they can't get a new job because they're overqualified later. So try and diversify your skill sets so you're more resilient and hopefully make money on your skills for yourself instead of pawning that skill set off to others all the time. Okay, so if you're a solopreneur and you decide to pull trigger on this journey, then congratulations, but there is a solopreneur hell. I think to every career there is a hell, and I will teach you what hell looks like for solopreneurs. Number one, analysis paralysis. It's like when you're sleep paralyzed, there's a monster on top of you, but you cannot move and your body is locked. Analysis paralysis is where you can spend months doing nothing, but you are so tired. Number two, perfectionism. Now, perfectionism is the enemy of good, and if you try to continuously get great A+ outcomes, then you might just demoralize yourself and never hit the mark. So try to be more good than perfect. Third thing is sunk cost. So everybody knows that the Concord fallacy is not good, right? Even if you go above 50% of the way, maybe you should know when to quit or turn back. But the thing is, if you stall, If you follow the solopreneur, you will have sunk costs, and all of that cost is on you, right? Your time, your energy, your stress. And so don't think yourself if possible. And of course, if you go stale, then that means you've lost momentum. And if you lose momentum, you are not going fast. If you're not going fast, then going alone has no point. You are losing that advantage. So if you're a solopreneur and don't have speed, you will definitely lose. Please have speed. If I was a solopreneur starting again, and I was allowed to choose an advantage, right? Speed, wealth, intelligence, etc., I would choose speed. Speed over intelligence, speed over money, speed over connections, speed over anything. Okay. And then getting stuck. If you're on a hamster wheel, it feels good for you. You know, I know a lot of people that they're so proud of themselves working hard, and you know, you're so proud of yourself, congratulations. But if you're stuck and it's a hamster wheel, then I mean, please just step off, you know, and take a second. And then finally, thrashing. Now, I think thrashing is very different from being stuck. It's like a fish coming out of the water, and all you're trying to do is just kind of 360 degrees thrash around because you can't breathe, and maybe you want to find water. But a lot of people are thrashing these days. They're like, let me try a project, start a newsletter, do a podcast, test this thing. No, try to focus. So in this session, we're going to find out how to focus and maybe make some decisions that help you to go your next step. And the mission is very simple. We're all in the dojo, right? The dojo of Solopreneurship. And hopefully in the next month, by June 14th, you would have your first dollar as a solo entrepreneur. Now, over the years, when I was young, I did many jobs. These jobs are on the image. So I was a cleaner multiple times, 2-time secretary. I was a pretty good secretary. I managed sports events, bartended, taught boxing a lot. Served ice cream, etc. But then also, I tried to become a unicorn by starting a startup, and I also tried the executive route. There was a day and age when I would show up in a suit every day, and I represented much older than I was. But the point here is that if you have a job like this, even if you're an executive, right, not even a cleaner, if somebody has a bad day, you lose your livelihood. For me, livelihood and life is the same thing. So if you cannot pay your bills, you cannot increase and elevate your lifestyle, then you are basically screwed. So whether you're a CEO or a cleaner, try and graduate out of wage labor, and also stay away from wanterpreneurship. Wanterpreneurship is like lifestyle entrepreneurship. You get into Y Combinator, get on Forbes under the 30, your company's not growing, you keep raising, and it sucks. So don't do wanterpreneurship, because these kinds of issues cause a situation where you must compromise freedom, control, and money. And those three things are what I've found to be the emotional pulls of most solopreneurs. Now, the solution is pretty simple. If all of you can have multiple cash cows, just as yourselves, then how nice would it be? We can all start with one. I'll tell you how I started, because you want to lead from the front. And I want you to know that I'm not some person teaching you theory and doing BS. I've been there. So when I was 18, I became financially independent, and I spoke English with an accent. I grew up in Tokyo, so it was not good. Went to UC Berkeley on some scholarships, but couldn't pay for it. So what I did was sign up for a program to go to Estonia, which it was one of the first ever programs for entrepreneurship education in this way. And then I placed. Thereafter, I told UC Berkeley, what a great program. I'm going to recruit students for this. Let's make it a better study abroad. On the other hand, I went to the program and said, look, all your team is Estonian. You're trying to extend into France, Portugal, Qatar, Shenzhen, whatever, right? And you have nobody who's an incumbent in North America. All of you are Estonian. So I told them, pay me zero money, no dollars, and I'll be your head of North America for 1 year. And I was 18. And I told the president of that company, look, if at the end of the year I sell what I'm supposed to sell, right, then you let me keep that title, number one. You give me 10% of all North America revenue, all of it, gross revenue. You send me a flight, room and board and everything to the next program. Give me a big title as a marketer for the next session. Give me an internship at the biggest and best French company where you have connections, and some other conditions. So it was crazy. But hey, he said yes, and I did my job, so he followed through on every single one of those things. So point is, the euros became dollars, I converted well and paid my bills, paid my tuition. But for all of you, I'm thinking, what is your thing, right? Is your thing to say that I am a student who's been in this program, therefore I have a high enough fit to jump the 18-year-old barrier and represent as an executive? I can do automated email campaigns, so with that automation, I can speed up the go-to-market of this company. I can help you go from Estonia to North America because I speak better English than you, right? But where is your argument? What is your first solopreneurship? That's my curiosity here. And of course, if I kept doing that, I would have still had the lifestyle of a college student. One trick ponies do starve. So that's why after I learned email automation and outbound marketing, I learned other stuff as well, all of which became solo revenue lines. But then now I use them within my agency. Okay, now, as I said before, I was able to sell well, but not only well. As a solopreneur, you want to be a little bit, you want to be notorious. So get a win that other people can talk about. Eventually, this Estonian startup innovation program became the biggest study abroad at UC Berkeley ever. And we were routinely sending between 90 to 100 people. And that's actually one of the classes, you know, that photo in Nice, France. So after this happened, other people started hitting me up like, hey, I heard you got European Innovation Academy into North America. Are you 19? Is that true? Oh, I see. Could we have a meeting? Right? Can I hire you too? So for all of you, if you get your first legendary win, one legend, then you will get more monsters to fight. But that being said, a lot of people ask me, oh, well, how do I actually start? I mean, you had some specific conditions, you got lucky as well, you took some risks. How do I do this? So honestly, that's a good question. And I want you to remember that solopreneurship may be easier than employment. So whatever safety you feel and belonging in your workplace right now, the thing is, to keep a job, you gotta surrender your time, location, and freedom, because your needs and your wants have to be organized around your employer. So as a student, I have no problem asking to go to the bathroom, but as an adult, for me, it just doesn't feel very dignified to ask permission for anything like that ever. So okay, do you want to be a student? Do you want to answer to a warden? Or do you want to be your own master? That's kind of what I'm saying. Number two, knowing your place. So it just turns out that even in the West, even in tech, kowtowing is necessary, right? Your boss must look good. You must never outtime them. And this kowtowing is necessary. I mean, I come from Asian societies where we literally bow, but even in America, if you do not know your place, you will get deleted as an employee. And so number three, virtue signaling. The fact is, a lot of people know how to be a good person. Not many people know how to be a good person as defined by company policy. So if you feel like you got to be virtue signaling and do culture fit things, you know, to make HR happy and continue to be promoted, then you're just not being yourself. And this is really sort of alienating. So if you're feeling these things, then maybe take a step back. And of course, performative work. In Japan, it's super common that junior employees will stay as long as the final senior employee, even if they have nothing to do. And that's just because performative work. You just got to justify your existence, you know? Like, I'm busy, my calendar is full, look how full my calendar is. Terrible. And then self-sacrifice. I think people find that things which help their health and wealth are optional. Things which help the company are non-optional. So think about this. A lawyer friend of mine, he would never cancel a client appointment. In fact, he would leave his wife to answer a client call, but he might cancel a therapy session. He might not go to the gym. And it's like, why is your health and your wealth optional? But when your client needs you, you would just leave a family event. So anyway, look, this is what it takes to keep a job. If you want to live like this, please do, right? But if not, then don't. Let's go to the other side, grass is greener, right? I think for me to keep a customer, all I need to do is meet their needs, number one, solve their problem, number two, and then number three, charge fairly, right? If they feel like they're getting a good deal, their problems are solved, and I meet them where they're at, then I just get richer. It's kind of crazy. So just think about that. I mean, are you going to impress your manager and kind of count on the fact that they have no off days, they won't explode on you, you know, they won't get political? Or are you just going to deliver some deliverables and make money? Okay. So here's where I think go-to-market is really important. A lot of people think about pricing and business modeling, but they don't think about market size. And market size doesn't really matter that much for solopreneurs, to be honest, because you're not trying to dominate $1 trillion global market. So when I get VC work and I'm investing, yeah, if you don't say you're going to dominate nations immediately, then it's kind of a non-starter. But for solopreneurs, look up the article, 1,000 True Fans. If you look up the article, you'll see what I mean. 1,000 True Fans is the idea that all of us, including yourselves, you have the ability to find 1,000 true fans on Earth, and you can find fans for most anything. That's how you find fans for even niche figurines from Japan, from an anime that is not popular. There's always 1,000 fans for something. And these 1,000 people would pay $100 a year, in which case you make $100 a year living. Now, it's a very simple way to do math, but it shows you that you don't need to be thinking on the order of millions. All you got to do is find your 1,000 true fans and get $100 out of them. Or my preference is 100 sticky customers. I think sticky customers are better because from 100 people, you can get, let's say, $10,000 to $1,000 a year. And what they do is they buy again, and they share with others. So whatever way you go about this thing, just think not market size, total industry size. Think, how do I get to my first 100 sticky customers or my first 1,000 true fans? But that being said, let's go into more practicals now. When you see this green bar up top that says activity, I mean, you can take a picture. This is something like the screenshot slide. You can do this at home, share with friends. But the activity I suggest to start with is to commercialize yourself. So think of it this way: is if you were a product, how would I sell you? And I'll be very blunt, right? If I was to pimp you out, then what would I price you at, and how would I sell you? If you are an item, an object, that is how I want to think about yourself. And the question is, if you have to make money right now, not fulfill yourself, not have a lifestyle, nothing. If you have to make money right now, then what would you offer? That's the first question. Number two, we got to assume that no jobs are open and you need immediate profit. You cannot wait. And number three, you have to be simple. Just get 3 customers at $1,000 a month. That's all I want from you. Or 1 customer at $3,000 a month. But I don't even want you to go above $3,000 a month. This exact problem set, by the way, this is how we got 25% plus of the students to become profitable. Because people stop thinking, what fulfills me? How do I have fun? You know, where do my connections lie? Whatever. Do not think that way. Just be like, money now, 3 customers, $1,000. That's it. Right? Sleep on it. Okay. But we got to break it down because it's not that easy to make an idea. There's a very famous phrase. It's founder market fit. And this is used by venture capitalists quite a bit. I think founder problem fit is lesser discussed. I think they're both important. Founder market fit is simple. It's you've been in the market, so you're an incumbent. Maybe you understand it better. Like, I'm Korean, so if you want to sell to Koreans, maybe I would know better how to sell to Koreans than somebody from Somalia. That's founder market fit. Founder problem fit is I have solved the problem, I have paid for it, and therefore I might pay for it again and know it's fair. So why do I have a marketing and PR agency for tech companies? It's because I was a technology chief marketing officer multiple times. I have hired and fired most of the agencies you have heard of and not heard of. I know their contracts, their prices, everything. And so, yeah, like I was a CMO buying agency services. I solved my problems. I pay for them. So for me to make an agency makes a lot of sense. So I wonder for you, where do you have market fit and problem fit? Now, when you find the intersection of these two things in the Venn diagram, that's where you're going to find your profitable niche and your zone of genius, which, to be very honest, means you can make more money while working less hard. Yes, make more money while working less hard. I mean, think about it. Messi is a good soccer player, but when Messi goes to play soccer, you know, he's not laying down his life for the cause. He's having kind of a good time, you know? It's something he's good at. I want you to find your Messi moment. Like, I don't want you to go around doing something hard. Okay. But to find a profitable niche, I think you got to think actually kind of orthogonally. It can't be like sitting on the bathroom, you know, the bathroom seat being like, I'm so stressed out, I need a way to find a profitable. No, like that sounds stressful. It sounds horrible. So don't stress out in the bathroom, you know, don't lose sleep. This is all weird. If you want to find your profitable niche, super simple. Think about your feelings of curiosity, pride, and belonging. If you have those 3 things, you cannot go wrong. Curiosity is very important. It's a sense of wonder or a topic that compels you regardless of outcome. And I think compulsion is the opposite of ritual. Ritual is like the ritual of you being bored at the end of the day or dreading your life on Mondays or whatever, the ritual. Or ignoring emails that are not relevant to your work. But curiosity, compulsion, that kind of thing, that's what makes you go somewhere else in the middle of your existing plan to explore something else. And for example, I'll just be very real and vulnerable here since we're with friends. I was at the Rolex store in the design district because, yeah, I'm interested in that topic, and I went there, looked at some things, didn't have enough time to buy something. Here I am now, but I'm going to go back to that store later today. But curiosity, right? Yeah, think about curiosity. Number 2, pride. Pride is really important, and some people want to say worthiness, because pride could have a negative connotation. But if you don't have a sense of worthiness and pride about what you've accomplished, what you've contributed, then it's gonna be like an erosion on your sense of motivation and morale. So try to have pride in what you do. And number 3, belonging. If you don't feel belonging with your ideal customer persona, your ICP, then that means you feel unbelonging, you feel alone, or even apathetic. to the people and conditions around you. So yeah, I mean, obviously you will not be successful. Imagine if you're running, a production house for music, but you don't care about music. Everybody's going to know. Everybody's going to find that energy, and nobody will come work with you. So curiosity, pride, belonging. If you find those three things, you can probably find a way to make profit in a way that suits you. But now, how do you discover what your niche might be? That's super simple. You just ask yourself, when's the last time you felt a sense of curiosity? So last time I felt it was at the Rolex store. I got interested in luxury and fashion. I never was, but now I am. Okay, number 2, pride. When I feel worthiness in some way, if I participate in the luxury markets, if I was a dealer, if I get a shop, I don't know, maybe, still thinking. And number 3, do I feel belonging? Actually, for me, no. I don't feel belonging with fashionistas. I don't feel belonging at fashion shows. I've been there. I don't feel belonging with guys and girls who care a lot about brands. So for me, it's more of a vanity thing. But yeah, I don't feel belonging among fashion and luxury people. So there it is. Number 2, try to ask yourself, in which markets do I have founder market fit? So that's really 3 things. A market means, number 1, lived experience, 2, insider knowledge, and 3, intuitive understanding. So if you were a mom, let's say, then you have the lived experience of a mom, you have the knowledge of a mom, and you have the understanding of a mom. So you can probably find products and services to sell to moms with empathy. And number 3, problem fit. Think about also the most expensive problem to solve. So this is not critical at this stage, but the more expensive it is that the problem was, the better it is for you when you sell it as a solopreneur. So part of the reason I chose the niche of technology marketing agency was I knew that tech companies tend to raise a lot of money and get a lot of budget quickly. I knew that these people usually don't know marketing very well, and they have an impetus to go to market quickly and aggressively, not only to get adoption, but to dominate and delete their competitors. It's the most aggressive marketing, tech marketing. The best marketers are in tech. So I thought, hey, that's where I got to go because the contracts are lucrative. Okay. Now, let's say that you've introspected. So now you've got a sense of your curiosity, pride, and belonging. You've tried many things. Congratulations, you're self-aware. But after self-awareness, I think it's time to point that awareness to the world. So this is where a lot of people, again, they meet a shortfall because it's really hard to take all the vision and intention inside yourself and turn it into a landing page, If you've ever tried to make a PowerPoint deck, same thing, kind of hard. So my process here is to just scaffold an idea. Don't create it, right? Just scaffold it. So you take your skills, which are your internal capabilities, what you have inside of you, and then you create solutions. These are external offers. So for me, my internal skill set in Estonia was I placed well in your entrepreneurship program. I can speak well on stage. I speak English with a better accent than the average Estonian. I know email automation. You don't know email automation. And I am at UC Berkeley. I'm a student. That means I can guarantee meetings with the study abroad department. I can speak as a former customer. Okay, fine, good. But for you, what about you? What are your internal skills and how can you turn them into solutions and offers? Here, if we move too fast, it becomes an issue. Because business modeling, it turns out, and by the way, at UC Berkeley and elsewhere, people like to use the business model canvas. And professors would bring this out so early. I mean, class 1, class 2, they're like, let's do a canvas. And I always thought that's super weird because I think we need to brainstorm first and business model later. I mean, business model is pretty much just your idea scaffold with dollars attached. That's it. And so right now for brainstorming, I would advise think number 1, what you can do, and number 2, what you want to do. What you can do is most important because the world shall be paying you and you want to get sought after for things you're good at. But what you want to do is also important. Not as important, right? Your feelings don't matter to the market at all. Your capabilities do. But still, your feelings matter to you, so I want to care about them. But when you brainstorm, just make a scaffold of what you can do and then what you want to do. See if there's any alignment. And then later on, when you're business modeling, that's when you'll think about how to make money and what makes you money. These 2 questions are very different. What you can do, how you make money. What you want to do, what makes you money. Very different. Okay, so when you brainstorm as a solopreneur, I think it's going to be simple. Perhaps later today, go get a green tea in a cafe, sit down for 30 minutes, and maybe do this exercise. If this thing takes you more than 30 minutes, then the thing is wrong, and you should just stop. Do it again. But as a solopreneur, just think, how do I become empathetic to the market? So many people have problems. I want to build and sell. All business is building and selling, but building and sell for whom? And if I don't have empathy for my client, then I won't serve that client well. If I don't have empathy in my market, then I will not feel belonging and pride, you know, contributing to it. So empathy is very, very, very important. It makes you rich. So 3 questions. Number 1, what inefficiencies have you felt in the businesses you've worked with? Because if you've had complaints, if you've had grudges and regrets from past business experiences where you're like, man, I'm doing this task, but it should be done by a robot 10 times faster. You know, I'm following these papers, but the papers are worthless. You know, my job is worthless. Whenever you've had these complaining thoughts, those are gold. Those thoughts, many people are having those thoughts. And if you solve one of those complaining thoughts, then you are solving an inefficiency that maybe everybody else would appreciate you for, and you'll get rich. Number 2, have you experienced expensive problems in any industry or community? So industry might be like crypto. Community might be like Korean churches in LA. I don't know. But think about what problems were expensive. So if somebody went to the bathroom at the gas station and they did not have toilet paper, that is not an expensive problem. It is not a market issue. It's not even a problem, okay? So that's a personal issue. Don't mistake. On the other hand, if you've noticed that paralegals and litigation in America spend a lot of time calendaring, and calendaring is done on Post-it notes on the walls of offices. And if calendaring gets messed up, it can actually tank a client's entire case. So then you're like, ooh, calendaring and dockets and all this stuff, it's really hard and really boring. That would be a really good thing. If you can productize calendaring, wow, you know, using AI. So anyway, I'm just saying, what are the expensive problems that people are experiencing in industries and communities? And then how about you solve for it? Number 3, what is something that people hate to do and get wrong, but you don't mind doing? For me, for example, this happens to DPR. People just seem to not like crisis management, spinning angles, talking to reporters, pitching stories, whatever. But for me, it's pretty intuitive. It's quite easy. So that's what I do, you know? But I wonder for you, what are some things that people hate and get wrong, but you don't mind doing? Kind of like my buddy, Jorgen. Jorgen's a SEAL officer, Navy SEAL officer, but he's a very happy guy. And he just likes being out there, you know? He likes being a warrior, but I would never do what he does. I don't like that. But he loves it. What I hate, he loves. So I wonder what's something you love that other people hate. Okay, let's move to ideation. So at this point, you might have some ideas forming in the cloud of your mind, and that's good. These ideas better fit with your personality and preferences, and they better optimize your solutions and services. And hopefully these are things you've successfully delivered before. But 3 questions that are important right now. Number 1, what can you talk about at length with no preparation? For me, partly why I teach this course and I chose the solo entrepreneurs as my people is I can teach this class with no slides. Somebody asked me, hey, if everything here goes wrong, if the organizer dropped the slides, what would you do? And I was like, I don't care. I'll teach this without a mic, you know, with no Zoom, no slides. I don't care. I can teach this to you one-on-one anytime with no materials. That's why I'm good at it. Number 2, what's an outcome you deliver with joy even if you were not getting paid? So for example, I volunteer as a guardian ad litem. So when a kid is in the court system, I visit them once a month or more. I show up to court and help them in the process. But the thing is, children are an ideal customer persona I would serve even if it made me poor, right? I would volunteer for them and go the extra mile even if I got no commercial outcome. So that's how I know, like, okay, if kids are getting better, that's an outcome I can support with my heart. Would I serve the average marketing client for no money? No way. If they don't pay me a good amount of money, then I will not even speak with them. But children, different. Okay, number 3. How do you work best? This is a very simple question. All of you know it. I mean, you want full-time, part-time, like you want to be at cafes or at home? Do you like loud or quiet, etc.? Are you a unitasker, multitasker? So look, just find out what you're good at or what you like, and then you move that way. All right. Now, when you scaffold the idea, it's going to be a little bit daunting. Maybe not for all of you, but at least for me it is, because I always feel a pressure, like, ooh, you know, if this doesn't come out right, then I will not respect myself. If I share it with other people and they think it's stupid, then it's going to hurt my ego. So try not to be so hard on yourself. But the most important thing here is to find a pain point that's worth paying to erase. Not to alleviate, but to erase. And the second important thing is that you're the right person. If you're not, then you won't be trusted. And the third thing is that you state your offer. The customer got to know how to pay and what to pay for. And then, of course, you got to promise an outcome. So you got to tell the customer, ideally, this is what you would get, and I would get you that thing. The best example I can think about is, if I'm a dentist, I'm going to find the person out there who's just screaming in pain because of their teeth. I'm going to find the person whose molar is rotting. You know, I don't care about people with chipped teeth, you know, orthodontics, whatever. Those people are not screaming. I want crazy pain. So I find that. Then I say, I'm a dentist, but not only that, I'm an endodontist. I know how to take away your pain with root canals. So there it is, right? Market fit, palm fit. And then third things, I would say, I promise you comfort, quickness, and safety. So who does that? I mean, like most endodontists bring you pain. I'm over here saying you're going to be comfortable. Wow. And then number 4, I'm going to say you feel no pain. Literally. I mean, like your tooth will be safe. You will have no pain. I'm not doing an implant. I'm not pulling it. At this point, you're going to think I'm some angel. You will pay me whatever I ask you to pay me. So find screaming customers, not sniffling customers, please. Erase the pain. Do not alleviate the pain. Okay, but let's say you found the pain, but you want to go to market. It's a really good idea. How do you do that? Find a beachhead. So just like the U.S. Army, you know, find amphibious vehicles and launch them somewhere so that you can actually attack a country from a single point. A beachhead market to me is your addressable niche and your target customer. So that's it. It's addressable and it's your target, right? Now, the reason to attack a beachhead market, and by the way, I've read an entire book about this, and at the end of the book, I thought, like, what is this? Like, why did I read? You know, the only reason, these three things to attack a beachhead market. Number 1, it's addressable. You know, a lot of people attack markets that are not addressable, and it's insane. So it just means you understand the market, you can reach the customers. Number 2, it's winnable for you. A lot of people attack markets that they just cannot win. And I think, again, it's insane, right? What if I tell you that by next year, my roadmap tells me I'm going to dominate Amazon.com? It's like, what? You know? It's not winnable. And then number 3, valuable. You got to know that the market has large enough business to actually grow and profit. If you choose the market of little tiny hats for hamster pets in Japan, unfortunately, not many Japanese people have hamsters who wear hats. So, like, you know, addressable, winnable, valuable. Market shrinking, bad market, don't do it. Market same, could be good, but think again. Market growing, very good. You know, go there. Okay. Now, as you ideate, many of you, due to empathy and being a good person, you might want to serve the downtrodden and the poor. I'm gonna make a statement that people think I'm a bad person, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and you'll understand. Do not serve the poor, ever. Do not serve the downtrodden. Business is not for this. If you tailor yourself and your business model for the poor and downtrodden, at some point you will have to exploit them to make your margins. And I've seen this among my friends as well. People who are well-meaning, who made money on crypto, and they ended up buying real estate, even blocks, right, in their home countries of Poland and whatever. I had this idea too. I wanted to do this. Eventually, you become a slumlord. Eventually, okay? So I'm not saying that every good-intentioned person will go serve the poor and then create a business that's extractive. But if you want to serve the poor and downtrodden, please volunteer. That's why I do guardian ad litem. Don't ever make a business model for somebody who is poor and downtrodden. They don't deserve to be charged money and exploited, right? Just help them. Serve the rich. They got budgets, you know? Gouge them. Price gouge, okay? So that's what this slide is. And maybe you believe in this, maybe you don't, but put it to the test. You know, see how hard it is for you to upsell somebody who's poor, whose main line of defense is you, who has so much faith in you, who wants $1 to become $100 million of value. It's just not possible. Just volunteer. Okay. Now, if you want to scope your beachhead market, then be like Tom Hanks. And no, just kidding. Actually, Tom Hanks failed to yell out orders. I mean, like, he had to be. You'll watch this movie and find out. But when you scope your beachhead market, number 1, please refer to an idea you came up with. I don't know why, but students like to go back to zero when they scope the beachhead market. So just deal with one idea you already thought about. Number 2, define a beachhead market for that idea. Again, don't be grandiose. If I'm trying to serve Koreans in LA, my beachhead market will be like my mother and her friends. That is my market, okay? It is not Koreans in LA. It's my mom and her friends. Number 3, identify how it's addressable, winnable, and valuable. Addressable, my mom's friends I can address. Number 2, winnable. My mom will refer me. I will get their contract. Number 3, valuable. My mom's friends are not poor. They will pay me. Okay. You know, they buy designer luxury, they can pay my retainer. But look, when you have your beachhead market scoped, please then take it to somebody you respect, right? It might be a teacher, a mentor, whatever, and see if they agree. In this stage of your journey, do not pimp them. What that means is don't be like, hey, this is my business idea and Beachhead market, and I thought it's good for X, Y, and Z reasons. Do you agree? Right? Yeah. Don't do that. Don't say for X, Y, Z reasons. Do you agree? Yeah. Right. Say I have a business idea. Here's my Beachhead market, and the end. Do not speak, and let them fill in the details. Do not pimp them. That's what it's called when you give them the answer first. Okay. Now, let's say you've got the idea and everything's good. Then you got to find out your competitors, because obviously when you launch, then people will try to destroy you and eat your lunch, and the market has market share. So you start with 0 market share. You want to get to at least 1. So it's very important. But as you launch, I wonder, do you see the world as a playground or a battlefield? For me, I'll be honest, I see it more as a battlefield, but only in commercial enterprise. I think the world is a playground. I'm a romantic person. Every day is romance for me. But in the world of business, you'd be quite surprised how savage I could be. And so, keep the sweetheart in you alive. But of course, when you compete with your competitors, bring out the savage. Okay. Now, I think of the entire world of business as frenemies. I believe you can do business with both. You wouldn't believe the amount of PR firms and marketing agencies and freelancers that actually contract with me. But it's very, very important to think about one thing. It's because I am bigger than them, right? Sometimes we're in parallel and symbiotic, but most of the time I can work with somebody who would be a competitor because they are less good at delivering, building, and selling than I am. So I am the king. And if you want to join my kingdom, then a Genghis Khan can have other clans, right? Other clans under him. But where it gets dangerous is if that party can eat my lunch, and if that party can conquer my army, then, I must fight them, overcome them, go beyond them, etc. But with partners, do business like it's a playground, right? Bundle offers, sell premium offers together, be their sales channel, be an affiliate for each other, right? Have in-kind value that you trade, whatever, white label them. But with competitors, it's a battlefield, right? I'm surprised by how people are transparent with their competitors, but study them and get business intelligence. As long as you're not spying, it's not illegal. Number 2, target their audience based on social following, right? If you see that they have a social post with a promo code that got 100 likes yesterday, then just message every single person who liked that promo code yesterday, because these are high intent customers. You can just steal them, right? And number 3, position yourself in contrast and offer a better way. Negative selling is not always good, and I don't think you should talk bad about your competitor on the phone. Like, don't call people and say, hey, my competitor is stupid. But definitely make a chart. You know the comparison charts with the red checks and green X's and all that? Make a chart, and AI loves it too. AI loves it. Okay. Now at this point, you know how to study your competition. That's good. Find an idea you came up with. Name a strong competitor in your beachhead market. Very important. Not any market, but your beachhead. And then identify what their offer, their price, and their differentiator might be. So what I'm talking about is if you are an ex-Army Special Forces person or Navy SEAL or something that wants to be a fitness guy after you retire, then you would look at David Goggins, because David Goggins is the gold standard of ultra marathon, bodybuilding, Navy SEAL guy who teaches you to be a fit person. So he is the competitor. Now, all the more so if you want the North American market, because he has dominated the North American market. So just find competitors that make sense in your beachhead. And things you can do specifically are analyze their reviews, study their partners, book a demo call with them where you can learn, do a free trial of their service or product, right? Look at their podcasts and other media appearances, read their team LinkedIn, etc. Now, when you look at, Kim, I see that you come back online. Are we short on time or something?
We are pretty much at the end. We have a couple
really?
minutes. Yes.
I thought it was an hour-long session.
It's 45, but that's okay. Some folks might be heading over. There's AI vibe coding, but let's finish it up. Take 5 minutes. Let's make sure you get in as much as you can.
Okay, yeah, 5 minutes is good. I'm super fast. Well, look, no-brainer offers are what you think it is. It's emotional, not logical, right? You want to pitch for you language. Don't be like I, say you. And make them curious, not informed, curious. And compel them, right? Compulsion is what you want out of that person, just like when you're dating. You don't want to be like, for these good reasons, you should go on a date with me. You should be like, here's how I make you curious, right? Here's how I flirt with you. Now you are compelled to give you my number, or give me your number. Okay, moving on. If you want to make a 5 sim, This is how you make an offer. Take a picture if you want. But the good way is to paint a picture of somebody's dream goal, give them a timeline, 1 month, say they'll make friendships which are priceless, right? And they'll get value, 1 to 5 instructor ratio. The bad way is to say my price is cheap, because then you cater to poverty, right? The bad way is to say yoga and potluck, because then you offer value that's not even value, right? You're supplying things that are not about fighting. And number 3, if you say win or you lose, you're always a winner, you are lying to your client. So don't tell your client that you're always a winner. Tell them you will definitely win. Now, there's a launch system. It's super simple. I use 2-week sprints, but that means you get 2 at-bats per month, right? 1 month, 4 weeks. And then per year, you get 24 at-bats. So if you discipline yourself to ideate and launch once every 2 weeks, then at the end of 12 months, you will definitely have had 24 solopreneur at-bats. And if you don't, it means that, you are undisciplined. This is how it works. Take a picture. I mean, week 1, you introspect. Week 2, you create the business. And if it sucks, day 14, you kill it. That's what happens. And secondly, yourself. When you have an offer for the customer, then just think to yourself, hey, does this compare well to my top competitor in the Beachhead market, right? Does this also compare well to my comparables? So on Earth, there must be others, like David Goggins, from the Spanish Special Forces or whatever, who also do fitness programs. Do they inspire me to do something differently? So ask yourself. Moving on, you want to get your first customer. You'll probably do that sometime in early to mid-June. There's no time today for this action, but getting your first customer is quite simple. You make a growth engine. This is the cheat sheet slide. Take a picture of it, or I'll send the PDF later, but this slide is complex. Everybody loves it. I don't know why. I thought it was kind of simple. But if a growth engine is just sales systems plus marketing flywheels. Marketing is trapping. You are trapping your customers. Sales is hunting for sales qualified leads. But what marketing and sales does is growth engine. And growth means you are expanding your serviceable, obtainable market, your SOM. And expanding market means, number 1, you are elevating your rates and margins. Number 2, you add revenue lines. And number 3, you create conversion funnels that continuously funnel more revenue into you without you having to hustle and get every lead. That being said, there's more QR codes. You want to find me on LinkedIn? Bottom QR code. You want to know my agency? Middle QR code. I will not pitch it. That's not what this is for. And of course, number 1, the starter kit. I mean, this is free. UC Berkeley said it's good. So you want to launch your business? The first QR code. That's what I want you to take. Okay, that being said, Kim, I think we're good on time.
Amazing. You lost nobody in the last 5 minutes. Everybody wanted to see you finish and hear this out because you have such an engaged audience. The chat has been huge, and there are questions in the Q&A. Guys, we will send this out. I feel like so much of what Luke said, we need to sit with and look at, and you can take screenshots of the slides. So all the decks will be on demand, or all the recordings will be on demand and will be sent to you guys following this. Luke, thank you so much for your time. So knowledgeable, made me think about things in a whole other way, and using, a different lens. So really refreshing. Thank you. Thank you to everybody that joined. Anybody that wants to move over to the vibe coding session that's happening now, I apologize if we're sort of back to back at the end. Please head over there. We appreciate you all, Luke. It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to do more free teaching, Kim. Teaching like passion. So you guys want to talk again? We'll talk again. I got more slides. All right, bye everybody. Thank you. Good luck. Love you back.
Solo Summit 2. All right, sounds good.